Hello to Hampton U Online faculty. Today, we'd like to spend some time to talk with you about creating interaction in the cloud using Blackboard tools. During today's session, we will spend time talking about and looking at a various number of tools. We're going to spend time talking about Web 2.0 tools, the benefits of Web 2.0 tools in education. Then we're going to spend some time talking about mashups, wikis, blogs, Blackboard discussion, and journals. These are all essential elements of creating interaction in your online courses. Let's start with Web 2.0 tools. Do you know what we mean when we mention the word Web 2.0? Web 2.0 is essentially derived from Web 1.0. Web 1.0 was more teacher-centered and was very linear in processing the information to students. Web 2.0, however, uses sites such as Facebook, Twitter, and Blogger. And these websites have changed the direction of Web 2.0 to create a shared learning experience between the webmaster, the online instructor, and the student. Examples also include social networking, blogs, wikis, and video sharing. You may wonder, why is 2.0 tools important? Here are just a few reasons. According to QM and specific standards, which we will talk about in just a moment, but Web 2.0 tools provide useful resources to students and faculty to increase engagement in the courses. It gives opportunities for faculty to allow students to solve problems in very different ways. Let me give you an example of this. For instance, in a social psychology course, one of the major concepts is bystander effect. Using a Web 2.0 tool such as Twitter, you could ask your students to watch with you what would you do with Don Quixote on Friday night and create a tweet up. During the show, you can ask the students to relate what they see in the episode to certain concepts around bystander effect. So it increases the opportunity to solve problems, create more complex opportunities for students to work together, and connect ideas from different perspectives and fill in gaps to existing ideas. So there are many benefits to Web 2.0 tools. Now, you may also want to think about from the Quality Matters standards. Quality Matters is a national standard and rubric system that gives online programs and course design a quantifiable look at how we can measure quality online education. So from the 43 Quality Matters standards, here are just a couple that relate to Web 2.0 tools. This slide only represents a handful of the specific review standards that require proper use of technology, but it also illuminates the importance of making sure that the alignment of the technology and the tools is there. It's essential that as you're creating Web 2.0 tools to use in your online courses, that you're not just choosing tools that seem to be catchy or trendy, but that you're starting with the learning objective. You're starting with the course outcome. What is it that you expect the students to do? So in my early example, the use of Twitter is perfectly aligned because I'm asking students to talk about bystander effect. The show What Would You Do is all about the concept of bystander effect in very different instances. And so the technology only allows us to enhance the collaboration and engagement around a concept that we were already talking about anyway. It just allows us to create a greater community around online learners. So let's talk a little bit about what's available in your online courses in the Blackboard system. Mashups. Mashups is a terminology that is specific to the Blackboard Learning Management System. But really, mashups allow you to include content in the course that comes from external websites. And there are a couple of mashups that are available that you will see listed here. And so I want to talk about these a little bit. The first one you will see is Flickr. Flickr is a link to a site that allows you to view and share photographs and images in a really creative commons way. There are lots of times when we think about copyright infringement it is important that we are really careful about the images we choose. Flickr allows you to eliminate that concern, as all of the images that are posted here have already been done so in a Creative Commons way to allow for sharing amongst faculty members and students. Mashups is a great way to introduce students to new content through the incorporation of multimedia components of your course. Mashups also remove the stress of having to create multimedia outside of your course to support the content, and it gives the course a really clean, streamlined look and feel. Secondly, you will see that there is a link to SlideShare. SlideShare is a site for viewing and sharing PowerPoint presentations. I often use this quite a bit as I spend time in the world of innovation, traveling the country and learning more about what innovative things are happening in online education. This SlideShare opportunity allows for faculty members, presenters, scholars to be able to post their PowerPoint presentations in a way that allows for other faculty members to download and grab that material, to be able to repurpose the material for their own instances, and to learn from what has been already presented. The last option you will see available is YouTube. YouTube obviously is a linked to site for viewing and sharing online videos. I think this is important that you continue to think about the use of multimedia components, because multimedia components go above and beyond just static print and text that we typically see in an online course. Let's talk a little bit about wikis. Wikis is another Web 2.0 tool. Wikipedia is a prominent wiki resource, and we can watch a video in a wiki video in plain English to get a better understanding of the use of Web 2.0 materials.
These four friends are going on a camping trip. They need to bring the right supplies because they're backpacking. The group needs to plan and plan well, so coordination is key. They're all computer users, so they start planning with an email. It starts with one, but then becomes a barrage. Email is not good at coordinating and organizing a group's input. This is the old way. Boo! The important information is scattered across everyone's inbox. This isn't coordination. Let's start over. There is a better way. It requires using a website called a wiki. Using a wiki, the group can coordinate their trip better. This is the new way. Yay! Most wikis work the same. They make it easy for everyone to change what appears on a web page with the click of a button. It's as easy as erasing a word and rewriting it. The buttons are really important. There are two that are essential. They are edit and save, and they are always used together. Let's see them in action. Here are our camping friends, and this is a wiki website. Like all wikis, it has an edit button. Clicking this button transforms the web page into a document. All you have to do is click it, and the web page becomes a document ready for editing. Editing the page means you can add or remove words or change how they look, just like writing a letter. Once you're finished editing, you click Save, and the document becomes a web page once again and is ready for the next person to edit it. Easy. Edit, write, and save. Using this process, a group can coordinate more easily. Let's apply this to our camping friends who need to bring the right supplies. Mary signs up for a wiki site and then sees the new site for the first time. She clicks the edit button to get started. She creates two lists for camping, what we have and what we need. Under We Have, she lists the things she will bring, a cooler, stove, and flashlight. Under We Need, she lists items that others need to bring, compass, lighter, water, and food. She finishes the process by clicking Save, and the website now has lists for the camping trip. Now it's John's turn. John visits the wiki website, clicks Edit, and the page becomes a document ready for him to make changes. John volunteers to bring food and water, so he moves those to the Have column. He also realizes the group will need a knife and rope. Once he's finished, he clicks Save, and the wiki is ready for the next person. Henry visits the wiki, clicks Edit, and he can edit the page. He remembers they need a tent. Henry saves the page, and the wiki is ready for Frank. Frank edits the page and agrees to bring the remaining items, completing the process. Frank saves the page and realizes something awesome. The group has created the perfect camping list without email. Yay! But wait, one thing is missing. They need a location for the campsite. The wiki can help with this too, but another page is needed. John visits the wiki and clicks Edit. to edit the page. He types in the word locations and highlights it. He then clicks the link button. This changes the word locations into a link to a new page. John clicks save and next, Frank visits the wiki and sees the list and the link to the new page. He clicks on the locations link and arrives at the new page. This new page enables the group to use the same edit, write, save process to coordinate locations. This process can be repeated over and over. These three buttons, edit, save, and link, make it possible to organize a great camping trip or create the world's biggest encyclopedia. You can sign up for your own wiki at these websites: PBWiki, WetPaint, or Wikispaces. I'm Lee Lefevre, and this has been Wikis in Plain English on the Common Craft Show.
As you can see from the video, students are able to collaborate individually or as a group, edit and update content, add continuous pages of information, develop a database of research information, and collaborate and share content from different sites. So there's lots of opportunity to use wikis in a very collaborative way. Wikis can also be used in a research paper. So you may ask students to create a wiki that is centered around their concept of their paper. So for instance, in the child development course, you may ask the students to do a paper on autism. Those 4 students can then take ownership of different segments of the paper, and they can put their ideas in a collaborative space where they all can share and learn from each other and create a unified structure for the paper. There are lots of opportunities to use Wiki, as you saw in the video. Wikis can also be used in other ways. You can use these, as I mentioned, for writing assignments and notes. You can use these to create class outlines or summaries. One of the things that you may ask students to do as they go through the material for the week is you can assign each group to create a weekly outline of the chapters. And this wiki page will allow students to be able to do this collaboratively. Students can also use wikis to create solutions to a project or a scenario. So as you're creating a case study, you may ask the students to create a wiki or put students together in a wiki group to be able to unpack different parts of the case study and be able to work collaboratively to get to a final presentation or a final answer around this case study. Blogs. Blogs, in essence, is really a personal online journal that is frequently updated and really is intended for general public access and view. So let's take a quick moment to review this video on blog.
You've seen the word, you've seen the websites, and you may even have one. But have you ever wondered, what's the big deal about blogs? This is Blogs in Plain English. To make sense of blogs, you have to think about the news and who makes it. We'll look at news in the 20th century versus the 21st century to make our point. In the 20th century, the news was produced professionally. When news happened, reporters wrote the stories and a tiny group of people decided what appeared in a newspaper or broadcast. Professional news was mainstream, general, and limited. The 21st century marked the point where news became both professional and personal. A new kind of website called a weblog, or blog for short, came onto the scene that let anyone be a reporter and publisher, often for free. As blogs became popular, they created millions of news sources that gave everyone an audience for their own version of news. Of course, we're using the word news loosely, but really, isn't everything news to someone? With a blog, a business owner can share news about his business. A mother can share news about her family, or a sports star can share news with fans. These people are all bloggers. How did this happen? Well, blogs made sharing news on the web easy. Anyone with an idea can start a new blog with the click of a button and share news minutes later. Here's how blogs work. Blogs are websites that are organized by blog posts. These are individual news stories, like articles in the paper. Bloggers simply fill out a form like this one to post a new story. With the click of a button, the blog post appears at the top of the web page, just above yesterday's news. Over time, the blog becomes a collection of these posts, all archived for easy reference. Also, each blog post can become a discussion through comments left by readers. Blogs make the news a two-way street. But really, the fuss is not about how blogs work. It's about what people like you do with them that matters. Let's say you have a blog about green living and outdoor photography. It reflects your unique perspective. This helps you build relationships with your readers and other bloggers with similar interests. Speaking of relationships, bloggers often work together. In addition to comments, you'll read each other's posts, quote each other, and link your blogs together. This creates communities of bloggers that inspire and motivate each other. Whether it's their ease of use or the opportunities they offer, blogs have been adopted in a very big way. Since 2003, there have been over 70 million blogs created, each with its own version of news. So the big deal about blogs is that they gave people like you the power of the media and created a personal kind of news that appeals to a high number of small audiences. So, it's up to you. What will you do with this new power? There is likely a group of people out there who want to hear what you have to say. You can search for blogs using Google's blog search or Technorati. You can also start your own blog for free at blogger or wordpress.com. I'm Lee Lefevre, and this has been Blogs in Plain English on the Common Craft Show.
As you can see from the video, students are able to provide comments, responses to initial blog entries, either from you as a faculty member or other students. It's also an opportunity to incorporate rich media to convey thoughts in a meaningful way. Students can participate in blogs in 3 different forms. First, instructors can provide course topics and then students comment. Secondly, each student can be responsible for creating their own blog and then sharing the blog entry with other colleagues in the course or you as a faculty member. Or 3, you could sign a group project where the students have to work collectively to create and comment on a blog and then give comment and feedback to each of the other groups on their feedback and blogs. So there are lots of usability and opportunities to utilize blogs. Additionally, you can use blogs to interpret a case study. You could use blogs to deliver arguments and supportive evidence. I think blogs is really helpful in this manner because you get to really see the stream of consciousness and the argument that's being built as students go back and forth and create this space. I will note that the blogs for me that is very different from a wiki is that in a blog, the entries are very individualized and come in a chronological order, while in a wiki, it's more of a collaborative space where students come in together and create one final finished product. So these are a couple of ideas as you think about how you could use a blog in your online course. Discussion boards. Let's talk a little bit about discussion boards, as I know that many of you are using discussion boards in your courses. Discussion boards through Blackboard allow participants to carry on discussions online. And it's also an opportunity to record these conversations in a very convenient way. As you think about building your online discussion boards, it's really important that you think about how to engage students in discussion boards. Each and every discussion board prompt should have a 3-pronged approach. You should make sure that your prompt engages students to the course material, that it engages students to you as the instructor, and then lastly, that it allows them to engage with each other as peers. So making sure that you're using opportunities to have all of those 3 prongs in each discussion board will be very important. Here are a couple of other ideas that you can use discussion boards for. You can have students use discussion boards to brainstorm ideas, for instance, for a wiki project. They could share initial thoughts about a topic before it's discussed in depth in an individual blog. You can ask students to submit research topic ideas about the paper they're going to write and have students give them feedback or ask them questions about the topic they've chosen. A discussion board is a space really where you can also employ the Socratic method. So as you're giving students feedback about their discussion board posts, I challenge you to then put the question and onus back on them. So as you read their comments, allow those comments to then elicit other questions that you can ask the student to have them to continue to further engage in the conversation. Let's talk a little bit about journals. Journals are a great way to check in with your students and communicate privately on their progress within the course, or to gather opinions or concerns related to the course. I find that too often in our online courses, we wait to midterm and final to really get a good sense of how students feel about the course. There are opportunities throughout the course to ask students about their progress and to get feedback about changes you may need to make in the course. I would recommend, if you decide to employ a journal, to make sure that you do it in very specific spaces within the course. So maybe the second week, the 5th week, the 7th week? Ask students questions like, how well do you feel that you're doing in the course? What are some things that you can be doing better or differently? What are some areas of challenge that you find in the course structure or the course material? These kinds of questions, if you are asking in a very engaged way, give you immediate feedback that may help you to make additional tweaks and changes to the course for upcoming weeks, instead of waiting till a semester is over and getting that feedback from the previous group of students to improve the next semester. You can make journaling a course assignment as well by asking students to discuss and analyze course materials and share their individual thoughts with other students. Perhaps you may want to decide to ask a student to journal a group project. You can ask students to share their thoughts throughout the course of the project, and this will also give you additional insight about who and how much each participant was engaged in the process. Journals can be used, as we mentioned, to collect observations, to improve writing, to build rapport between students and instructors. I think this is the largest piece and area where I've seen it to be very successful in online colleagues, the courses that I've seen, and express opinions and concerns. The journal gives the student the safety of the privacy that you don't get in a blog, wiki, or discussion board, to be able to share areas of concern or areas where they're actually struggling in the course. So lastly, I want to be able just to talk a little bit about the distinction. So as you're thinking about creating opportunities to include tools to assist you when thinking about using some of those that we've talked about in this webinar, I want you to think about how these tools can impact learning of your students. Each tool really has a little bit of a different focus, as well as some similarities in function. And to maximize the tools to ensure the learning content is purposeful and the interaction will be meaningful, it will be important for you to notice the difference. So as you notice, blogs is really a one-to-many. It's about personal interest. It's commentary and incorporating rich media to convey sometimes really rich and deep thoughts. Wikis is many-to-many. So there are many people that are creating the wiki and many people that are receiving access to the actual wiki that is created. It's a repository of information compiled by students. This is a really collaborative approach. There is content creation, ideation, as well as revision. Discussion board goes back to one-to-many. This is an opportunity for students to demonstrate the comprehension of the course material. And it gives students and faculty to engage in powerful conversations, and also for faculty and students to provide each other with feedback. While journals is the one-to-one reflective learning environment that allows for the confidentiality and safety of the technology to be able to share concerns or areas of challenge about the course. And it can be seen also as a two-way communication on a topic. So as we wrap up today, I want you to think about all of the tools that we have discussed. What is possibly one way you can infuse one new tool into your online course? Or how can you reconceptualize the use of one of the tools that you already are using based on today's lecture? Thank you for your time and attention, and we hope that you found this webinar useful.